Okay. Yeah, that don't bother me.
Sister's bad habit.
What's that?
Sister's bad habit.
KPFFLP, Nevada. Statements and opinions made on the following program are not necessarily those of the station or its
She didn't buy that. She didn't buy that. So on with the show.
Here you go.
Anthony Greco.
Here we
Fighting
go.
government corruption.
This is going to be interesting.
Real gangsters.
Listen to it.
I'm going to be listening.
Greetings from the corrupt criminal enterprise we know as Nye County. I am Anthony Greco, and this is my program. So I have had a very interesting week, and I'll just tell you that I've went to a Republican meeting, a Democrat meeting, and after my experience with both parties, I could tell you this, that anybody who belongs to the Democrat Party in Nye County or the Republican Party in Nye County, don't ask me for anything. Okay? Yous both are going in different directions, which I understand, but yous both are crazy. Okay? You don't respect people's opinion. The hatred that goes on in both places is sickening, and these people don't realize whether you're a Democrat or Republican or Americans. You better start working to turn around and make this country better and not divide us. It's sickening. So anybody who belongs to a Republican or Democrat Party and you're running for office, don't call me. You're not getting any time. That's definite. It's just ridiculous. I'll help the Republicans or the Democrats outside of Nye County, but forget about here. It's not happening. Yesterday, I had a meeting with Stephen Horsford. Okay, he is, everybody should know who he is. He's our congressman. He is a Democrat. And he actually came not just to see me, but he talked to a small group yesterday at the library. And he paid attention. Now he's got 14 months to do something that I asked him to do. I turned around and told him that Nye County is a corrupt criminal enterprise and he needs to do something. And don't waste your time calling the FBI in Nevada. It's no good. I said, you're in Washington, D.C. Go over to the Department of Justice and get something done. We need an investigation here like what happened in Brownsville, Texas and Bell, California. If he tries to work with anybody in the state of Nevada, he's wasting our time. So he listened to a lot of people's complaints. I turned around and told him some stuff that made his jaw drop. And I turned around and told him I will back up everything I have to say with documentation. And he was very receptive, I would say. And let's see if I actually thought he was a nice guy. What he did was, which was different, was He wasn't complaining about everybody else being a criminal. He was explaining what he has done. And I mean, this is not an endorsement. I'm giving you my opinion of the man. He didn't cut anybody off. Everybody got a chance to speak. And I thought it was worth my time to be there. And I think he got a little bit of heads up on what's going on. So I want to thank him for being here. And I turned around and told him this is not right, that the corruption that's going on here. And I actually, you know, I use this old saying, you know, most people know who Helen Keller was. And he actually smiled when I said this. I says, you could send Helen Keller in here to do an investigation and she'll find everything. I says, because it's so bad here that they're not even hiding it anymore. They are out now just breaking the law, abusing people. I turned around and told them this small community here has gotten over $1 million worth of tickets last year, and that came out of the treasurer's office. I turned around and told him to look into the drug court audit, where it was shown that Lane misappropriated funds, or my words, he stole the money. I turned around and told him about Coonsey. I turned around and told him about Lane. I told him about Worley. I turned around and told him about the abuse that Paul is getting, the abuse that Gabriel is getting. Gabriel was there. Gabriel is pretty quiet. We had a couple of other people who were there that were in a deposition by Sharon Worley's attorney and Sharon Worley, and I turned around and told him he needs to do something. This is his area, at least for the next 14 months, and he needs to protect the citizens, Democrats and Republicans in this community. I know he's a Democrat, but he's representative for everybody. And hopefully we're going to get something done. We finally got in a position to get somebody who has an ear outside the state of Nevada, because the whole place is a problem. So we are not going to be taking any phone calls today, and the reason for that is this is going to be my last show for a while. I don't know how long. I'm hoping it's only a couple of weeks, but I have a major problem with a mental case that lives on my property, and I'm going to explain why I could use those words. But I have talked about two people that live there. One of them's already gone, and I have this gentleman there who is becoming a hazard to the property, an irritant to everybody who lives there. He's abusive. I have a 90-year-old mother living there. I have a friend that's 85 years old who's disabled and living there. And this person, you know, everybody was trying to get him a place to live, and, you know, Lazy Dog and myself took it upon ourselves to give him a hand up. That's not what he wants. He's a sponge. He sucks money out of everybody he can. He goes down to the VA office and sits there to cool off, and turns around and cries to people. He has no money, takes money from women, children. He'll take money from anybody. He's an animal. Okay, he's been thrown out of every place he lived because he lives like an animal, and I don't mean to disrespect animals. I would say he's not an animal, he's just a lowlife. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why I say that. But he has been a problem since the day he got there. He just doesn't want to know anything. He has trash and garbage everywhere. He refuses to clean anything up, so I just had enough of it, and I notified him in writing, and this is a copy of it, on July 17th, and I turned around and told him, Paul, start looking for a place to move. I left a copy of this on his stairs. He picked it up. Then I turned around and wrote this letter to him of everything that he has done wrong there, and that I'm not going to put up with it. It's abusive. It's unhealthy. It's unsanitary. I have a 90-year-old mother. I don't want her getting sick because of this maniac. This is a man who is wearing a .45 automatic on his hip with the hammer cocked. This is a man who's mentally unstable. Why do I say that? He's taking opioids for pain. His sugar is out of control, up and down. He has a chemical imbalance because of it. With the opioids on top, it's even worse. Okay? He likes to, when he talks to you, make sure he turns so you can see his .45 automatic with the hammer cocked to try to intimidate people. This is not acceptable behavior of a human being. And I put up with a lot, and I'm decided, and there was one thing that brought me over the top. I found out the last place he lived, the person had died. And he took it upon himself to go through this gentleman's stuff who was dead. And he took a title to a car that the man had, and now is driving that car. Registered and insured the car under his name. He stole from a dead man that we know of. What else did he take? Did this guy have family? What did the public administrator do? This guy is driving a car. It is an old Toyota Camry, gray in color. It's got Nevada plates on it, the newer Nevada plates. He is a hazard to the community. This man is a ticking time bomb. He is a hand grenade with the pin out and is rolling down the street. Who knows when it's going to go off, because he is not stable, and he will go off. He has gone to the hospital numerous times. One time he went to the hospital for a few days and left his dog sitting in his unit with no water, no food. He said they were fat enough to turn around and wait a couple of days while he cooled himself and ate the hospital food, and nobody fed his dogs. I couldn't go into his unit. That's not my space. It's his unit. The reason why I don't call animal control, he is a hand grenade with the pin out. I don't want animal control there and have him draw down on them and possibly shoot them. I am not going to call the cops or have him evicted in that way, because he is unstable. I do not want to draw a person who works for Nye County onto my property to maybe lose their life or be physically disabled for the rest of their life because he is a mental case. I am a believer in the Second Amendment, but when you're taking opioids and you are not talking rationally, you're always out of money and begging money from people. His income is higher than mine. Okay? I don't run out of food. Okay? I have gas in my car. He cries. I got a phone call today. Somebody left me a message. I'm sorry I couldn't call anybody back that called me, but I was in the process of doing things here that I couldn't stop. I went to the post office and turned around and told them I'm trying to get this guy off my property, when I turned around and brought this letter, certified registered return receipt. I says, I do not want to accept mail for him. He is on his way out the door. What do I do? They says, does he have his own mailbox? I says, no, he uses mine. Here's a note. Do not leave any mail for Paul Miller. We are not accepting anything for Paul Miller. 8/20/2019. Please read at the bottom. At the same time, I didn't want to leave him hanging. I went and got 3 change of address cards. Here's the first one. I made a photocopy of it with the date, 8/20/19, the day I put this on the mailbox, telling him he needs to change his mailing address. He picked it up off the stairs while I leave his mail. This is the receipt for the package, the letter I sent him. He refused it. I had to go back and pick it up. Here's the second change of address, 8/21/2019. This is the second change of address I left on his stairs. I get a call on 8/22, come and pick up the letter. He refused it. Here it is right here. Okay, green slip, the people that are watching this on video, refused. It's stamped by the post office, returned to sender, refused. I have it right here. I did not open it because when he takes me to court, I'll let the judge read it. He can open it. 822, photocopy of another change of address form left on his step. The postal lady came there, turned around and says, I have a package for him. I says, we're not accepting any mail at this location. She said, well, it's a package. I says, that's mail, right? She says, yeah. I says, well, the man is right inside that unit there. He is mentally unstable. He's a cocked, loaded weapon on his side. You want to knock on the door? Go ahead. She looked at me, got back in her vehicle and left. Okay? Didn't want to get involved in it. I have to tell everybody he is a menace to society. He's unstable. He's a danger to my mother, my friend 85 years old who's disabled, myself, my animal, himself, and the neighborhood. The reason why I don't call the cops is because they are so unskilled and untrained that I'm afraid there's going to be a shootout on my property, and I don't want my property sprayed and riddled with bullets. I shouldn't say it's my property, it's not, but I live there, it's my home. Okay, the people who own the property have been telling me, get him out of there. I told him the day I wrote that note on July 17th, we're going to deal with this like men. You're going to leave, and we're going to deal with it like human beings. He does not want to do that. I got a phone call, he went to the hospital today. How he got to the hospital, I have no idea. His car hasn't moved in 2 days. If he took an ambulance, there's no way that my dog would not bark with the sound of a diesel truck in my driveway or in front of my house. Okay? I don't know if he's lying to suck more money out of people, but that's what he does. He begs to everybody, and let me tell you something. He has to understand that he cannot get any services from the community because he makes too much money. Now, I don't know if he's a drinker. I don't think so. I don't think he's a drug addict. I'm not sure if he's a gambler or not. But to constantly be out of money every month before halfway through, there's something wrong. And he keeps using these excuses that he's starving to death and people feel sorry for him and keep giving him money. I am a person who believes in giving somebody a hand up. He wants a handout and you have to do it his way. He doesn't take any word of advice from anybody, not even whatever friends he has left. Most of his friends won't even talk to him because they just had it. And there's no reason why anybody has to live like that. If the cops want to do something about it, don't do it on my property. I don't want a gunfight at 5980 Pahrump Valley Boulevard. I just don't want it. Okay, there's documentation. He has a car that's registered to him. All they have to do is find out who owned it before him. Go to that person, say, who did you sell this car to? It's not going to be him because the person don't even know it. Now, a person who rifles through a dead man's things, belongings, is an evil person. I'm a scumbag and I wouldn't even do that. Okay? This is an evil person. He is not good. He's not fit to live in society. He actually needs to be in assisted living. He keeps telling all his friends, oh, what am I going to do with my dogs? What are you going to do with your dogs when you're in a hospital for 4 days and you leave them there with no food and water and say they'll be okay? He's not an animal lover. He's an animal user. This man needs to be mentally evaluated, taking opioids. This is why I believe in marijuana and CBD. Okay? I've been through a situation, the woman that lived on my property with opioids. She couldn't get enough. She started heating the stuff up in a spoon, legitimate stuff, and shooting it to get a big of a bang. Okay? That person had guns. I'm a Second Amendment person, but if you're not mentally stable, you should not have a gun. People who do shootings, mass shootings, are not mentally stable. Especially one of the last two that happened, the shooter killed his own sister in a crowd. That's not mentally stable. This person, Paul Miller, is not mentally stable. He turns around and tells people that he went to VA and told his social worker that I was abusing him. The social worker told him supposedly that he's a criminal, he should be in prison. He went and called parole and probation and talked to my probation officer, and I talked to my probation officer. He says I shut his water off. Yes, I shut his water off because his sewer line was broken that he owns, and human waste was going all over the property at 5980 Pahrump Valley Boulevard. I told him when he fixed it, it'll go back on. I'm not gonna lie, I did shut the water. It wasn't off 24 hours because he realized that I'm not gonna allow raw sewage to go on the ground. It's unhealthy, it's happening in California, people are getting sick. And I'm not gonna allow him to make this LA County with feces all over the place. It's not gonna happen. This is not a person that should be in general population of people. He's a menace to society. I'll say it again. He's a hand grenade with the pin out. This man is a danger to the community. You will see him. He will leave the house on the last day of the month at 10 o'clock at night to run to Walmart so he can get his check because he doesn't know how to appropriate the funds properly. He'd rather beg from people and cry that he's starving, but he won't go to a food bank because he doesn't eat that garbage. So I guess he's saying that everybody that goes to a food bank is trash and eats garbage. This is the kind of human being, and I'm using that term lightly, this is what he is. He stole from a dead man. He's not fit to be in society. Now, if somebody thinks I'm making this up because I don't like the guy, just do a paper trail. He's driving a car he never bought. Where did he get it? So you gotta ask him. If I'm that bad, why doesn't he go to court? Why would he want? Well, he told his friends, well, I'm gonna get him put back in prison so I can live here for free and do whatever I want. Wow, I helped this guy. When he brought that unit into my property, I said to him, why did you accept this? He said, well, I had no other choice. I says, well, this is a good start. When you get on your feet, you need to get something better and move on. He's not looking to move on. He's a parasite. A parasite will suck on the host until he kills it and kills himself. That's what he is, a parasite. Well, I'm not the host that he's going to suck to death. It's not going to happen. And this is the reason why I'm not going to be here for the next couple of weeks. Because usually my Sunday consists of coming here at 3 o'clock, recording a program for somebody, doing my program, and engineering for Lazy Dog. And then go get dinner. I cannot be out of the house for that length of time because